Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to a long forgotten episode of I Heart Geek. Oh my gosh, how long's it been?
Long time.
This feels so good. This feels good. I needed this. This is
Did we
therapy.
do the Metalocalypse movie?
Yes, that was probably 6 months ago.
Good grief. Wait a minute. Am I back? Hi, everybody. Am I back? I like on the first one for a while?
Yes, it's been a few minutes. Long story. Y'all can talk to me about it later. I don't want to get into it because I'm going to start saying things that aren't appropriate on the I Heart Geek panel. I'm Dub.
Oh, we are happy to be back.
I'm Dub. I'm here with Mr. Winchester. There it is. And Mr. Tommy. Woo! How y'all doing? What's been going on in this 6-month interim time?
Well, I mean, I might have been not to toot my own horn, but I might have been nominated for Best Actress in a Short in the 2024 Garden State Film Festival. Thank you very much.
Nice. Does that come with its own toxic waste?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, just checking.
Yes. I mean, we were in Asbury Park, so the toxic waste smells like popcorn.
Oh,
and candied apples.
What it smells like? Nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like Coney Island.
There's things it's not Coney Island. It's not Coney Island. Okay. We're going to Coney Island later today.
We're going to talk about
this episode.
Yes,
in this
we're talking about this.
Okay.
So I'm going to have so many New York questions. I mean, I don't think you understand.
I have a bunch of answers, and I have. So we're going to get into it in a second. I'm very excited.
Mr. Winchester, before we introduce the show, what are you up to, bud?
Sir, it's wonderful to see you. It's Tommy. Very nice to see you too again. Been a long time. Living and working, man, raising my 2 little boys, and that's really about all that there is to it. I mean, watching as much as I can, reading as much as I can, and still trying to go to every single concert that I can.
Heck yeah.
One of these days you'll grow out of it, but you'll be 90.
No, I will not.
You'll be 90.
I refuse to grow out of it.
Don't bother.
I never will.
He's going to stop once Slayer finally does retire.
Slayer did retire. They're just doing a couple little, they're doing a couple little things. But no, I will not retire. I was at Wu-Tang 2 weeks ago.
Oh, look out, man.
And I'm going to a show at the end of this month, and then I got 4 more shows already lined up for the rest of the year.
And we have things to talk about in shows later. Anyway, Okay, so today we are talking about probably one of the greatest cult movies ever made. And I can say that, and I'm saying this with a straight face, probably in my top 10 of movies ever made. So you guys know where I'm going to be placing this one as far as my grades at the end. We are talking about 1979's brilliant, out of left field movie, The Warriors. Warriors, come out to play. I need to get the bottles because that's so creepy. I love that. Okay, so me and Winchester have probably watched this 1,000 times between the two of us. Now, Satomi, this was your first view. So I want to get some of those, virgin cuts of what your thoughts on The Warriors is. Okay, so just give us a real quick, what do you think? I mean, we're going to get into it, but what did you think?
Oh, man, out of the gate. So okay.
Uh-oh.
I was fully prepared. As soon as it started, I was like, oh, baby in a manger. I was fully prepared for super dated, just, put my brain in the decade and just go with it. It is dated.
Oh yeah.
It is dated. But it was so much more fun than I ever expected it to be. I had a great time. I have lots and lots of opinions, but I was not mad that I watched it, and I was actually quite pleased that I had watched it, and I'm glad that it's now in my mental library and has a little place to live in my mind.
Very good. I'll take that.
May I ask why you never did watch it? Was it just never in the?
It just wasn't my jam.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my jam. Listen, I am a sci-fi girl. I'm a fantasy girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely, Breakfast Club and all of that. I mean, going way back, I was Beastmaster and Krull and, and like Black Hole.
I feel like that's all in the kind of the same
Warriors a gang
ballpark
movie
as Warriors.
though. No, Warriors,
Ish.
Warriors.
Ish.
But it's less. It's not as much. I mean, yes, it's a fantastical story, but it is not sci-fi. It is not fantasy. It's a street story.
It's a Spartan
gang
movie.
story. It is. You know, it's
It's
definitely
Spartans.
something that was really popular around the time. Were the Gauntlet movies, running the
Mhm.
Gauntlet. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a movie called Sphinx, and somewhere in the middle, she's, one of the characters is essentially going through, like, now we have them as freaking game shows where, like, you're running along the a thing and something bashes
American
you into
Ninja
the water.
Warrior stuff. Yeah.
It's no, I mean, not as cool as American. Nothing's as cool as American Ninja Warrior. But I mean, that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
And now, Warriors is very much, it's a chase movie.
Yeah.
It's the precursor to like Speed and all of,
To
all
Running
of the
Man.
Kind of
Running
a
Man.
very early on action movie, if you will. There's a lot of action as far as the chasing and everything else.
Well, the director also directed such brilliance later like the Christmas movie of Die Hard.
Thank you.
Christmas
a lot
movie,
of
definitely.
stuff in there. Yeah. It is.
Thank you. 48 Hours.
48 Hours. He's been around. He knows his stuff. And so we would not have all that without the Warriors. So, Chris, what was your first time you saw the Warriors?
It had to have been, teenage years.
Really? That late?
Yeah. I didn't see it that early on. However, I remember that it kind of really, I saw it after West Side Story, which is funny.
On the same day?
No, not the same day. But my mom is huge West Side Story, so I saw that a lot. And then also, when you read a little bit into this, you also find out that the author of the book did this kind of as a rebuttal of West Side Story.
Saul Urich.
Yes, he did it as a rebuttal to it because he worked somewhere in one of the departments in New York, and then just kind of thought that they were portraying gangs the wrong way in West Side Story, being a musical like that. So that's why.
Listen,
why.
Yeah. I'm absolutely listening to what you have to say, but don't diss my movie.
Oh no, not at all. I love West Side Story.
Okay, thank you.
West Side Story. It's
an
amazing movie. Again, I saw it very early on because my mom was such a huge fan of it. But it's very interesting that's where it came out of, because you can see it in it the way that the gangs are. It's just take out all the musical aspect of it and then put a little bit more dirty and
it's gritty.
Yeah. But also another way to maybe look at this movie is maybe a post-apocalyptic type, because they never really say what date that it starts, right? And there's not.
I was getting shades of Escape from LA from it.
Yeah.
So you don't really know like what the time frame is, and then how there's not a lot of other people around, but it's just those contained little areas that they have. So it very well could, from what they say, take place in the future, whatever that future could be, from 1979.
Now, I'm going to help you guys out on something, because this is something, it never dawned on me that it was even different. But 2005, they came out with the special edition Blu-ray, and that's what I have. Now, with the special edition Blu-ray, they had, it was made exactly how the director originally wanted it. So it has like the comic book panels, the swipes, they go animated at the end of some scenes, and it's very much a comic book. And it's amazing. Now, because you mentioned the date, and they never said it, but it's in big cartoon font, big Comic Sans font. You see the Ferris wheel, that first scene, and it's in that the comic. It's animated. I'll put it that way. It's painted beautifully, and it says somewhere in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It is an apocalyptic future.
Oh, interesting.
And that's part of how they got away with majority white gangs and what they did.
It definitely had a little Clockwork Orange action going on.
Yes.
I didn't even
like
think
a
about
grittier,
that. But
yeah, absolutely it did.
That's actually an amazing comparison. Now, I saw it for the first time when I was 5 years old.
Oh, bless. Oh, my Lord.
Okay, so back home we had, I believe it was old, it's cable, and we saw the box that you had to slide. On Channel 2, it was a channel from San Francisco, and they played it one night. And oh my gosh, I had nightmares about the Furies forever with the baseball and the mimes and like, what the heck is going on here?
Favorite gang.
They were so good. And
They
then
were great.
And then when I turned about 14, I'm like, I can dig this, suckers. I got it. But seeing as a kid, this completely and totally gave me the weirdest prejudice for New York in the world. Because still to this day, when someone says I'm from New York, my mind is immediately jumping on the subway, going all the way to Coney Island, being like, this sucks.
going all the way to Coney Island on the wrong lines, at the wrong stations.
One of those. Okay.
Going through different parts of Manhattan instead of Brooklyn, and that was tough for me because I've lived on both coasts, and I went to UCLA, and there was a really popular film that had shot there. I mean, a lot of stuff shoots there, but that had been released shortly after I was there. And, you're watching him cut all over the place and it's hard to buy in. And I definitely had several moments because they kept talking about getting to Union Station. And at one point I was like, you just get on the train and go straight down. You're on the freaking line, man. You just downtown, get on the train, downtown, you're done. And there were a couple of moments where it was like, you're not where you say you are. You're on Manhattan. That is not, are you supposed to be in Prospect Park? Because that's not. But I'm not sure. So I definitely had a few of those. And the thing is, you shoot where you shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You shoot where you can afford to shoot. You shoot where you can get it. Something that was fun is some of those subway cars. The ones with the orange seats, those ones.
Your New York is coming up big time, yeah.
Okay, because listen, I'm
to Cat's Delicatessen next.
I'm from New York, not originally, but I've been here long enough. Okay, so some of those are still in use. A lot of them have been phasing. Well, they've been brushed up. All the graffiti's gone. They're beautiful. They're clean, and a lot of those are phased out or are nearly phased out. But it was kind of wild to watch that and be like, I recognize those cars. Union Square does not look like that.
So
not look like that. Not anymore, at least.
As an early 80s when crime was really rampant down there, can you see that being pretty realistic?
I mean,
not the storyline, but
yeah, I mean, early 80s, it was sketch. And to be quite frank, we're sort of leaning into sketch again. Yeah, it's not as bad as it. I mean, when people are like, "Oh my God, you're in New York. Are you gonna be okay?" I'm fine, you guys. It's fine. It's fine.
That's
it's
how
a
people
matter
talk
of,
about Vegas too. It's all good.
Yeah, it's a matter of don't be stupid. That's all. Just be aware.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. Don't get into it with people. Just go and do your thing. You're going to be just fine. Even I would be extra cautious late at night when this film is set.
And everything was recorded late at night on this movie.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Clearly.
Everything.
Well, and then the random lone female sitting on the bench at whatever 2 o'clock in the morning.
Cop,
yeah,
which was Daniel LaRusso's mom in Karate Kid.
Oh,
that just made it more special, didn't it?
She reminded me a little of Mercedes Rule, actually.
That is Mercedes Rule.
Yeah.
Oh,
but Daniel LaRusso's mom
wasn't she? Oh no, I'm thinking of Married to the Mob. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But really funny.
I just took the fun away.
If I may, real quick.
You may.
One of the worst movie moms ever because she was the mother in Big and in Last Action Hero, both movies where she lost her son somewhere.
Well, because she's in New York.
She's a working mom.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of everybody. Yeah. Give her a break.
She's just a small town girl, living in a lonely world.
She took a midnight subway going to Coney Island. Sorry, but it was Mercedes Rule. So
yes,
okay.
That was Mercedes
Rule. First character I want to talk about is Cyrus. This scene, honestly, and I don't want to overstayed its importance. But you know that like 15-minute scene in Moby Dick where the preacher's just talking for 15 minutes. You're like, why am I sitting through this? And it's so important. You don't realize it till the end. That's how this scene feels to me. It's so important, but it's so dragged out. But the can you dig it, suckers, all of that is just insanely good writing to me. I don't know if I'm alone on that, but
So I don't think it was dragged out. I thought it was
just
perfect
long.
with the way that it was long, but it was long for a reason, in order to get all those people there and then kind of tell you how much of the gang's all around there, which I think, and I'm not a math major, but I think his math was a little off on how many people they actually had.
1,200 real stand-in extras were there.
No. Well, see, actually, counterpoint to that, they couldn't get enough extras. A lot of the people
they gangsters
are real gangsters, and there's real undercover cops in there too.
Cool.
So that's inside of that entire thing because they couldn't get enough extras out there. So
cool.
Yeah, lots of real gangsters. But no, I really like it. I mean, also Patton, where you got to listen to his opening speech. It's the same thing. It keeps you engaged.
It was just so well written.
It was very well done.
I don't know that he was a gangster. He was a cult leader. I mean, he would have the biggest cult on the planet. I was ready to follow this guy. I'm not even kidding.
Well, and that's what they said too, with all the people, and that was like real cheering from all of them when he was yelling out that kind of stuff. So everybody really bought into it, which was good.
I think the performance was exceptional on that. He did definitely come across as a cult leader.
Yeah.
But as Winchester was saying, something that I thought was done so well is, so you need a reason why everybody is after this gang for the next 2 hours. And I thought they set it up beautifully, because he had to be so compelling, so amazing, and be so uniting of those guys, that when he is shot, spoiler alert, I guess
it's 2 minutes in the movie.
I know, right?
The movie's 40 years old. I think we're okay.
We're okay. All right. I would have been mad if somebody told me before. But once he's shot, his death is the motivator for the rest of the film. And so I thought it was handled beautifully, because it was like, yeah, of course. Of course.
The other thing that they hit so well, and it was sub, but it was interesting. His second in command, there's no way he could have gotten the attention of the people the way that Cyrus did. His second in command can definitely handle his group, but nobody else could be Cyrus. That's why I love the writing. They say it 3 times. Cyrus, he's the one. He's the one. Like, he is. Nobody else could do what he did on that, which just made it so fascinating to me.
That might have been improv. It did have a feel, because when you're doing
the suckers was.
No, but I mean, even repeating a line.
Oh yeah.
Which maybe not. I think it was a really good marriage between script, director, actors, bringing themselves to the moment and making it cool.
Yeah. Now there is a long-standing rumor, and Samuel L. will not say one way or the other, but apparently there is rumor that Samuel L. Jackson is one of the extras in the park.
If he won't say one way or the other, he probably is.
I'm sure, because that'd be embarrassing. It's like, is this going to be racist in another few years? I don't know if we should do this one or not. I want him in his full MFer garb going,
Eye patch.
A full eye patch, absolutely.
Yep. And there's got to be snakes somewhere.
Somewhere on that park bench. I just edited that. That was nice.
Snakes on a park bench. Sure.
Okay, now let's talk about, I think, the other hero of not of the story, but of actors, and that's David Patrick Kelly. He was the bad guy. He shot the warriors. Most annoying, creepy, evil, frightening human being. There's something in his eyes that is so disturbing. From what I understand, he was on heroin the whole time, but true True Hollywood story. Yeah, he's not alive anymore because of heroin.
I'm
He
sorry to
played
hear that.
he played that so well, and the bottle thing, the Warriors come out and play.
We're
He
skipping to the
improved it.
end.
I'm
We're
just
skipping to
well,
the
I'm just
end, but
talking this
yeah,
character.
yeah.
That dink jink, that was all improv. He said, just do something to and be creepy. And he grabbed 3 bottles and did that. I'm like, who thinks that way? You're evil. You scare me. It sticks
He
in
was
your head.
beautifully cast. He was really beautifully cast. As soon as you see him, I mean, looks wise, really he is sort of quintessential late 1970s, early 1980s bad guy. Like
Yeah.
physically he ticks the boxes there. And then he has that manic energy about him, which is so fun. I will say, I bought him. There was one moment where I think it might have been the writing where it was just I just started laughing because the delivery was
Mhm.
cheese.
I bet you I know what it was.
tastic.
I bet you it was on the when they got all the snacks from the concessionaire lady.
No, it was later.
No?
It was
Okay.
near the end. It was near the end. But not the baby part, which I thought was brilliant because that's exactly what he was. That's
Mhm.
exactly what he was. But he was what you want in a villain, which is you love to hate him.
Mhm. And there was no shade of gray with him.
No.
He was purely chaos, and I think that so many movies today need to take a I don't want that to be every bad guy. But I want a lot of bad guys to feel that way. They're like, I just hate him. I can't wait till he dies. I want him treated like Dolores Umbridge at the end of with the centaurs. That's how much I hate this guy, you know?
David Patrick Kelly is his name.
I thought I said that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You might
Yeah.
have. Yeah. I
It's all good.
apologize. But his look, and that's what I love about it too. And then just the way he kind of shrugs off and he says at the end, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you kill Cyrus?" Because I like doing that. I like doing those things.
So good.
That's all there is to it. I just like doing it, and then pulls out the gun. So
Yeah.
great villain.
Because you didn't need more from him. And I think
That
that
was
is
the
so
line.
I think that is so beautifully done. Because I wanted to do it or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was completely over the top. But can you imagine that character if he wasn't over the top? You wouldn't care.
I think in that moment, that was the line that I was like, oh, God bless.
It took you out.
Just because I think if he had done that with everything else being so over the top, which was great, and I bought it because he was high AF.
Oh
Like
my
he was
gosh.
reading as high as as high AF. But if he took that moment and really grounded it, I think it would have been more terrifying.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
You know
Dang
what
it! I
mean?
hate
Like,
talking to
that's
actors
the one-
sometimes because you
I
guys
know,
get
I'm
better
so
ideas.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
You just destroyed my movie, Satomi.
Because that would be the truth. That would be his core. That would
Yeah.
be your glimpse at who he really is inside. And but
Wow, you just kind of gave me nightmares about that.
Yeah,
That's
because
awesome.
he's almost comic bookish in a
mhm.
way. So, but yeah, I see that too. That'd be really
Oh,
really good.
he's Deadpool mixed with Carnage in the
Yes, if
superhero world. Yeah,
Deadpool were if
nuts.
nuts. He's nuts.
He was. I mean, there is no
If
politically
Deadpool
correct way
had
to say
no-
it. He's nuts.
He's nuts. If Deadpool had no moral compass.
Evil Deadpool. Which we've seen.
Joker.
Yeah.
Joker. It's
Joker.
very Joker. Yeah. Yeah.
With
I would have liked to have
the
seen what he
facial
could have done with
expressions
that
and everything.
role. I could have seen him doing the '89 Batman.
Joaquin Phoenix?
No, David Patrick Kelly doing the 1989 Joker for
I
Batman.
see. And I was going into casting now.
Yeah, we'll go to that. We can do.
He's a
casting.
little too old for it now, but I don't have a cast prepared. You didn't tell me to prepare a cast.
Oh, you know how we do. Okay, so let's talk about the worst character in the world because he was supposed to be the main character, and he was so bad that they wrote him out, pushed him onto a train, and killed him, and took his name out of the credits completely. You know the guy with the wannabe James Dean whiny eyes the whole time with the big huge Jufro, just like huge.
What was
He's
his
the
name?
one that says he's the one
I
that
think.
that he gets blamed initially for the shot. What was his name?
Give me 1 second. I think it was Fox.
Yeah.
Give
I
me
have
1
forgotten
second.
him already. That's how much of an impression he made.
Now he was supposed to be Swan. He was supposed to be the Swan character. But he got I guess he was fighting with everybody. He was a super prima donna. Like all the stories you hear about Leah Michelle from Glee, that's
Glee.
what he was like on this set. I don't think you can get away with that on this set.
There's a balance to be had for standing up for yourself versus being a prima donna.
Which is a conversation I'm going to want to have on another show with you. I have this written in my head. We will discuss this. I'm serious. It's half written in my head. I want to talk about this. But
done.
Yeah, he was told actually to watch James Dean movies to try to emulate that feel. And he just it didn't come off as, that haunted, sexy look that James Dean has. It came across as more, I'm going to cry.
Well, it's, this goes to, and I'm not going to name films, but one of the challenges with playing a role that you've been given a direction like that is, as an actor, you want to, I'm sorry, I'm about to get intellectual about this. Sorry,
Please.
everybody, we're going there. Is that it's really easy to kind of just start playing the characteristic instead of what is behind the characteristic, right? So if he was just playing the eyes, like, oh, okay, so this is going to be the eyes, and it's not filtering into the rest of his body that is the reason that, like maybe he always squints because he can't, there has to be a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just playing the characteristic without allowing it to infuse your body, then it doesn't work. And that's happened recently.
So what you're saying is it's a movie versus a Saturday Night Live sketch. You can get away with it for a couple minutes.
Yes.
In fact, you have to get away with it for a few minutes. But
really
in a movie,
and in something like SNL, there's no time. There's no time to, you've got less than a week with the script. You're writing it that week, and so it's like you've got to do sort of that instant kind of stuff. But you're about to do a film, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge,
Yeah.
I'm not dissing him for it. It just didn't apparently. Whoever this guy who I now can't remember, it just didn't work.
But yeah, he was so much that they basically, a train came, and one of the first deaths of the Warriors is him. They pushed him off and just killed him. Unmemorable death. No reason to have it. That there was no point to it. But yeah, it's kind of amazing.
His real name is Tom Waite.
Not the singer, unfortunately.
Yeah,
not the awesome singer. If he was.
I don't know. I can't find where
he's not listed in the cast at all.
Yeah, he's not. They took him out of there, but he was in the little what's it called? Trivia type stuff. And I saw it earlier, but yeah, I want to say his name was like Fox.
Yeah, but that's some hatred to pull out your character like that.
Oh yeah, that's cold blooded right there, right in the middle of filming.
I guess it was like 4 weeks in, and they couldn't go back because they were on such a limit. Like, okay, we're rewriting right now.
Now I remember him. Yeah, that's. I mean,
He wasn't a good character.
If he earned it.
Yeah,
he earned it. If he was pulling his weight and was pulling his weight, see what I did there? If he was pulling his weight and and bringing it and being pleasant to work with, or at least not a jerk. Sorry, I had to take a moment to censor myself there. Then that's cold. But and it sounds like he had warnings.
It sounded like he had a lot of warning.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure he's worked since, so I'm sure he learned his lesson. He grew up, and
I hope so.
Went forward from there. So,
but I'll tell you the biggest problem with this character, and it has nothing to do with the off-screen stuff. It has to do with everybody else. I mean, there's some characters that were definitely feminine that didn't quite fit, but they made it work. Some of the characters were a little too homegrown-y, but he had no hardness to him. I would not believe in a million years he was in a gang that went and killed people on a regular basis.
So by day he goes and bags groceries, and then by night he hangs out with these guys.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to him. Yeah. And I think that was everything wrong with the character. He didn't know how to play hard.
I don't know if that he didn't know. It could have been that he already didn't care.
Want to, yeah. And that
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah. Because
So,
I looked
yeah.
at a picture of him, now I remember who he was, and it's like, yeah, he just didn't feel present.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what was going on set or what was going on in his head.
But again, out of all of this movie, that to me is the only real down point to it.
No, there's
It really
one
is.
down point to it.
Oh, okay, fire
Is
away.
that
What is it?
Tony Danza was supposed to play.
Oh, was supposed to be Swan.
No, he was supposed to be Vermin.
Oh, okay.
They said, yeah, because Vermin was like kind of the wisecracky, like Italian guy. So
With the
Tony
hat,
Danza
the guy with the
was
hat,
supposed to-
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then instead, he just did a little show called a Taxi.
Yeah, I think he made the right
Whatever.
choice. Let's be
Yeah.
completely fair. I think there's two other people that made anything after this, and one of them was
James Remar.
yeah. He played
a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm thinking of Raiden from the first Mortal Kombat
Oh, that's
or
what's
second
his-
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. He was, I don't
And
know. I
wasn't he
didn't
a
watch Sex
Highlander?
in the City. Yes, Highlander.
Yeah.
Sex in the City was a big character in there. I never saw it, but I know he was a huge character in that TV
yeah.
show.
He's been in quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's done a good career. But you don't see any of these guys. And you're like, okay. Now, who I don't understand didn't make the star was the girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who played Mercy?
Yes. As a 14-year-old, I wasn't paying attention to her performance. Let's be fair. As a 15-year-old, I was not paying attention to her performance. It's probably about 20. I realized, oh wow, she's really good. What happened to her? And just disappeared because she just had this weird vulnerability while being so hard, and I really enjoyed how she played that. It was subtle. She had more subtlety than any character, I think.
Yeah, I thought I really enjoyed her. I mean, listen. Okay, so
Okay,
definitely that
uh-huh.
whole okay.
Okay.
That whole, like, for decades, the extraneous female who just, instantly falls in love whoever the main character is and then follows him like a freaking puppy dog for the rest of the, like, writing wise, at least for her reasons to
It made
stay,
sense.
it was like, are you freaking kidding me? And it's true. I mean, listen, people like fall in love instantly. That I do believe that happens, or that there's some sort of attraction that is just there, but she has decided that she's going to follow him around and put herself in mortal danger, and yada yada. There has to be a reason that she decides to hitch her wagon to his star, especially when he is so go away.
Can I
kept thinking they were going to fridge her.
Oh,
dead
that would have
serious.
sucked.
I
But-
kept thinking that they were going to do it.
I think I can answer that, because it wasn't just her following around Swan. She was being passed around from the Orphans, which is like the worst D-League gang in the city. Everybody hates them there.
They weren't even invited. They weren't even invited to the rally.
Yeah,
they weren't even.
They're
invited
all
to the
window
party.
lickers. They all lick a lot of windows. I'll just
I
leave it at
love the
that.
newspaper article. And the newspaper
Show him.
article. That was show him.
But so with that being said, that's who she was with. That's all she knew in life. She wasn't following Swan. She was following a better life. And I really feel that wasn't a love
That's
story.
valid.
It was she wanted to get out of there and she wanted to go experience life. Is it Coney Island? I don't know. Never been there. Because that's how just deprived that 10 feet of dirt, or 10 feet of turf.
That is valid, and I'm gonna chalk that up to dated writing, and if that were to be written today, would probably be written better, whether it's with words or with just reactions and language is not my friend right now, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be in the language. It can be in the editing. So yeah, okay, all right, okay, I will absolutely give you that.
So and ironically, that's not something I ever thought about, but that's something that always just that's what that was in my mind. I don't know if that's just how my mind works.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't.
You're looking for something better, Deb.
always.
You're gonna just follow it, Ted. You're gonna come
Or
to
have you ever
Coney Island.
traveled to?
I'm not living in a.
You're
I've been
coming
around
to
the
Coney
globe.
Island. Admit it. Admit it. You're coming to New York.
I started in Washington and ended in Virginia. Not too many, and then drove from Virginia back to Washington. Not too many people can do what I did. Heh. That was a weird brag. Okay.
That was a weird one.
So, how did you feel
right.
about the positioning of all the warriors? Because I mean, it's a big group. Some of them are memorable, some of them are not. Let's be fair. Swan's pretty memorable. Cochise, I thought I wanted to see more out of him. The black guy with the big old fro. I really want to see more out of him.
With all the Indian
yeah.
feathers. And
Ajax, I think, was there exactly as much as he needed to be. And he was as gross as he needed to be. He was foul. Everybody was repulsed by him, but he still had their back in a fight. So therefore, they were always together. I thought he was exactly as much as you needed. Cochise, I don't think was enough. I think everybody else was just kind of as the side characters they were, except for Swan.
Was Cochise the young one? The young one who was kind of the newbie?
No,
no. I'm sorry, that was Rembrandt. I really liked Rembrandt.
He wanted to be the war chief.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Cochise was the one who had all the earrings and then the big old like Native American
beaded necklace.
Necklace and stuff that was on.
And he just had that look. He was hard. It's like I would not fight this guy.
There were so many names. You
it's
don't
hard.
hear them that often. And one of the reasons that West Side Story works so well is that with each of the characters, their names are used frequently enough and their characters are so distinct from one another.
Absolutely.
That you're able to tie it. And that was the thing with Warriors, is that you had your standouts and then everybody else sort of blended into the gang. Just overall the gang.
I put some thought into that. And if I was to remake it, that's one thing. And I would leave the vests exactly as they are, except for one thing. Like the motorcycle vest, they'd all have their name on it. Just that
That's
little,
actually not a bad idea.
Just that little, because
their handle, whatever their handle.
Yeah, I've done I've rode with a lot of motorcycle types, and that is a gang lifestyle thing. That is your road name. They could have done that because they all had road names. It wasn't, this is Peter,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then they never say that, Cleon actually died.
I wish they would have made that clear one way or the other.
But it would have been cooler to see him kind of come back into the fold at the end.
At the end.
Yeah, but I liked him in the beginning where he was explaining everything to them and why they need to go and everything else. So I liked his character for the little bit that we got of it.
Yeah, he deserved more because he was really good.
Yeah.
Now what I could see them doing, and this is me on a whim rewriting the script. At the end, he's the one that takes over for Cyrus. That's what happened in my brain. Because I think he could have that charisma.
Yeah, he definitely had it.
More so than Cyrus's number 2.
Yeah. Well, he never took off sunglasses, so.
Just that hard look all the time. Now let's talk about the narrator for a second. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? You know that's her, right?
Oh, you mean the radio announcer?
Yes.
Hey, all you boppers, love
good.
Her.
I do not want a male. I do not want anybody but her. If they remake the movie, they have to get her back with those just creepy lips. Just, hey, boppers. I'm like,
you know who else she was? She was the one going against Morgan Freeman and Lean on Me.
Yep.
She was the lady from the school from the school board that was going after Morgan Freeman for putting the chains on the door.
And if anybody wants to know, she got incredibly upset at the end of this movie because they only showed her lips.
They never showed her face.
They never showed her face, and she was mad about that. Like, you don't want to see her face.
She has every right to be angry about it, but I gotta tell you,
the right choice.
It made it better.
It worked. It made it better. It made it feel like she was whispering in your ear, like she was on your shoulder as an audience member, like she was the one who was taking your hand and being like, "Hey, listen, I'm inviting you into this world."
Her voice cuts.
Oh, so good.
Her cadence and everything.
I want to record her so bad.
Yeah.
And I will say she's got some of the prettiest lips I've ever seen. She's got killer lips.
Yeah,
Oh,
those aren't surgically altered because that was before that they were doing that.
Yeah. Oh, she's au naturel.
Just saying. But
yeah,
no, and it was
that's
sexy
probably,
or sultry without being sexy, I want to say.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think
Without
that's
being
one of my
sexy.
favorite sequences is that very beginning there where she puts nowhere to run
Mm-hmm.
on, and then it does the montage of all the gangs coming out. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I think that's like one of my favorite little parts of the movie because it's just cool to see how many of them are coming out, and you know that really essentially introduces you to this entire area they're going to be running through, their whole world building, if you will, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With everybody coming out of the woodworks.
I enjoyed so much the variety of gangs and how each gang was very distinct.
Mm.
And as I said before, the baseball with the freaking
Furies,
makeup,
yep.
they were
The
my
Furies.
favorite. But I gotta tell you,
And every guy dresses that for Halloween at least one year.
at least one year, the dude on the roller skates.
Oh,
My! I was like, really? You're gonna fight on roller skates?
just the guys with the overalls, right?
Yes, with the overalls.
And
It's
the
like
bad
Chucky.
the pedo stashes.
Yes,
Is so awesome.
it was like Chucky before Chucky came out.
I know
Like,
exactly
it
what you're
was
talking about.
So stupid.
I forget which gang those guys. So whenever you guys are ready, I have a list of the 21 gangs that they actually featured in the
Oh,
book.
shut up!
I will let you hit that one. I want to hit one thing first.
And where they're from too.
Okay, I want to hit one thing real quick, and that is, do you know the guys who were dressed all Mongolian in the first scene when everyone's going into the subway?
Yes.
The guys that was a real gang called the Mongols or Mongolians. Mongrels. Now that they were a real gang, they were hired by the production company to watch their stuff.
Oh,
no!
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That to me is like
awesome.
That's one of those best part of the movie's things.
However, they didn't use that name Mongol in it. They use a more unfortunate name for that gang.
We're probably won't going to mention that, I'm sure.
I mean, already we're towing the line here, but yeah, go ahead.
Savage Huns of Chinatown.
I'm okay with that. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
You're the one with the Asian blood, so I'll defer to you.
I mean, again, it's dated. It's dated.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes a lot to offend me, and it's like, sometimes I just kind of have to go back and be like, yeah, this is just, it's of a time. It is of a time.
Oh, well, they dropped the F-bomb like 10 times and not the
James
FU
Remar
bomb.
does. Yeah, James Remar, every other word out of his mouth is that.
But it makes, honestly, with his character, I wouldn't want him saying anything else because it was perfect for his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it was, yeah. And that's another conversation we're going to have later about watching things with today's eyes. And we're going to talk. Anyway, the other thing that killed me, and this cracked me up more than anything else in the movie, this takes me out, that the first gang they run into in the buses, it's the skinheads, and half of them are black. I'm like, I'm confused, but okay.
Well, I mean, they
look like Aryans. They look flat up Aryan Nation.
Yeah, I mean, but that could just be because they're actually based on their particular gang was actually just based on the fact that they all have shaved heads.
It absolutely is, and it's
or lends to being in the post-apocalyptic future, and also they were a little bit more progressive than everybody else.
And, well, it was pretty split as far as.
But they were the Turnbull AC, and they were from the Bronx.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, hit your list for us, bud.
All right, I'll try to do this real quick. So the Riffs, they're from Gramercy. The Rogues, which is the villain guy, they're from Hell's Kitchen.
They seem like the coolest ones, by the way.
Obviously, Warriors are from Coney. Turnbull AC is from the Bronx. The Orphans, they couldn't really tell where the orphans were from.
They're from the West Side Alley of somewhere.
Something like that, yeah. The Baseball Furies were from the Upper West Side.
So they're rich?
If you think about it, and you kind of look at them again, maybe they are a bunch of rich kids, that play baseball, and then that's what they just decided.
They're able to afford uniforms
and a bunch of bats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And face paint. That face paint probably isn't cheap.
Well, New York Yankees paid for it. Sorry, like they do with everything else. I'm just
Yep.
kidding. Sorry, baseball fans.
The Lizzies were Union
God,
Square.
so good.
The Punks were the Bowery. The Boppers were from Harlem, and their rivals were the Hurricanes. The Hi-Hats, those were the guys who was wearing the Lincoln hats, the mimes.
Oh yeah.
And they're from Soho. Their rivals, because he says it in that little opening thing too, are the Electric Eliminators, which is my favorite, I think.
With the yellow satin jackets, yes.
Yes. There's the Saracens and the Jones Street Boys, which they're from Bensonhurst, which I've never heard. Out of all these, I've never heard of that area.
Yeah. And yeah, Bensonhurst.
You just won't go there at night.
You say Bensonhurst.
Bensonhurst. There you go.
Yes.
Okay. And then there was a motorcycle gang quickly shown from Brooklyn called Satan's Mothers.
Yeah.
Did they take the subway?
There was the Gladiators, which I believe they were from Brooklyn as well. Boyle Avenue Runners from Queens. And then the last one was Van Cortlandt Rangers.
Fun.
So
that's a lot.
They got run of the park.
That's the ones that they basically portrayed in the movie.
Those were the real gangs, or those?
No. Those were the ones that were made up, but the ones that they actually showed people as.
Yeah, the mongrels were the real one that they actually mentioned.
Got you.
The Gladiators, for reference, they were the ones who the guy got the tokens for the subway and was paying. So they got a nice heart.
Because gangs will definitely like to. They never hop the turnstile.
Yeah, so that's who the Gladiators were.
Okay, so let's hit this real quick. I want to talk about the music, and then we're going to do some casting stuff, because that's what we do, because it's fun. Okay, so the music is, I think it sits there with Halloween to me. It sits there with Escape from New York, that whole John Carpenter type feel. I loved it, and putting in the least popular Eagle, who is that?
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh doing In the City at the end. You're like, that's gangsta. I mean, silly, but it works so well.
Don't ever say gangster again.
Gangsta. It says stuff with the A. It's a gangsta.
No.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, no. Dog. You know what I'm saying? No.
Step away. Step away.
Go real good, bud.
That's what do you want from me? Okay, so I want to hear you, especially Satomi, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the music, because, well, we're musicians, and I know that's the first thing that grabs Satomi.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the score was great. So if we start with the pre-existing music, their choices there were fantastic, completely appropriate. Pushed the story forward, so much fun. But then the actual score, I mean, if you listen to it, it's definitely of its time, using a lot of that synthetic music, but it's all excellent. It's all just it's an awesome, almost kind of rock opera kind of underpinning for the whole thing. That I just really every time the music would kick in, I'd be like, yeah, I can rock out with this. So I mean, kudos. And it always supported the storytelling, which is always going to be my number one thing.
It told its own story with the story, and that's beautiful to me.
Yeah, and I like the little spots and where you were talking about the synthesizers, pardon me, coming through, and on some of those little dark areas, it gave me the feeling of Nightmare on Elm Street. When he would just come in and you knew something really bad was about to happen, or somebody was coming around. I mean, even that very first one with the turnpike, the Turnbull AC coming around, they had that little bit. It's quiet everywhere else, but they got that little bit of music coming in. It was layered over perfectly with all that. And then I believe that song was actually, the Joe Walsh one was written for the movie. And
really?
The Eagles actually re-recorded it later on as a little bit different version and then put it out. But he did that song specifically for this movie. He was paid for it.
Very interesting.
So that's awesome. We should definitely give a shout out to the composer, and
Barry
I'm
D. Vorzon.
very
Barry D.
very
Vorzon. He's done a
Okay.
lot. He did a lot of like the 80s stuff, like Lethal Weapons and that kind of stuff.
awesome.
Ooh,
And then
Event
also
Horizon. Ooh, nice.
Yeah. He's been around.
nice.
Yeah.
And we also got to give a shout out to Deborah Van Valkenburg, who is Mercy. We didn't
Yes.
mention the
Oh,
actress's
yes.
name before. And yeah,
Young
she
boyhood
was-
crush. Yes.
Her very first movie, actually, when I was looking at that too, that was her first movie ever, her first
Oh.
role.
And honestly, growing up, I honestly thought that was Valerie Bertinelli. I'm like, wow, Eddie, that's Eddie's. Wow, nice.
She's got a little Angelina Jolie about her.
She-
She's got
she
the
had a-
wide jaw.
Different,
Look,
kind of
yeah.
sexy from the time. She would actually have
Yeah.
done better now, I think.
Yeah.
Now, one other music thing that I want to hit, because this is in the book, and the sign for them to fight when it went over the radio was a Beatles song. And I don't know which Beatles song because I didn't read it, but I just saw that. I'm like, wow, that's a product of the time. I hope
I wonder if it would be like Get Back or one of those.
I'm hoping it was like Maxwell's Silver Hammer, because that just doesn't make any sense. It'd be awesome.
Well, that actually fits with-
Maxwell's Silver Hammer.
that fits with my choice, one of my director choices, but we can talk about that later.
Okay, let's hit that right now. Okay, we're all going to. Okay, let me do a disclaimer. This movie should not be remade under any circumstance under Earth. Do not touch this movie, Hollywood. I will hate you forever. With that being said,
They already did TV series.
I heard that's supposed to be out. When's that coming out?
I think it was like 2022 as it came out. or-
Nobody watched it.
I'm
No
not sure,
one
yeah.
saw it. Okay. Well, then it just didn't exist. It's like the last season
Yeah,
of
it
Scrubs.
doesn't exist. Yeah.
It's like the last season of Scrubs. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, don't remake this movie. If they did, who would you want to direct it? And then after that, I will give you 2 characters that you can put from today into the movie. Fair enough? And
Okay.
I'm going to do mine first. My first choice, even Chris heard my other choice, but Quentin Tarantino is my first choice. I think he would tear this movie up in the right way, because he is the right kind of politically incorrect. He would pull a lot of the things we can't see, and I think he would do an amazing job of it. And he's so violent, and I think the violence would be turned up to 10 on this, and it'd make me happy. So Tommy, what's your
I have
director?
2.
Okay.
I have 2, and the reason, and I'm going way off script here, because I think they would turn it into something very different but very interesting.
Okay.
So if we are going, I could see this being a grand epic. This is a massive chase. Maybe he would set it in space. I don't know, but I'm thinking, Denis Villeneuve could probably, Dune
I
the
don't even
snot
know
out
who
of
that
it.
one is.
He directed Dune, the new
Okay.
Dune,
I see it.
and like creating that sort of epic sweeping.
It would be a 6-hour movie,
Interesting.
and I'd be
It
okay
would
with
be.
that. I'd be
Yeah.
completely okay with that.
But
This
I think there
movie
would
was
be a
not
lot
long
of
enough.
character development.
Oh yeah.
With it, we would care. Now, here's my other thought, and it would go entirely the other direction, because I just think this would delight me so much if we had the weird, quirky version directed by Wes Anderson.
Tell her. Go ahead and tell her.
Guess what his first pick was?
Wes Anderson.
Wes
Shut
Anderson
the
was
front
his-
door!
That
Yeah.
was his first pick.
So,
I see it.
So I don't know if your thought for it was, but my first and foremost thought was the outfits of every gang. Wes Anderson like dressing all of them, and then just
Yep.
He would sew it himself. Be honest.
Yeah.
And it would
So-
be weird and cool.
Yes. So my thoughts were a collaboration. You got to have, since we're talking about New York and we're talking about gangs, you got to have Scorsese involved
Yeah.
somehow, some way. He could still make it, the way that it is. but then you have Wes Anderson who comes in and kind of just does the look of the movie. So that's the way that I thought about it.
Or you could move the entire production to Jersey and make it a Kevin Smith flick. No one's buying that one, are they?
No, that would work too. That would work too. It'd be a different kind of film.
It'd be a character-driven movie, I'll tell you that.
My right field one, real quick though, would be Robert Eggers, who did The Witch and what's it called, The Lighthouse.
So it would be like much more of a thriller.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you can turn
this
it.
lends itself to a horror.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
movie lends itself to
absolutely.
It could have been a true horror.
Yeah. So that was my right field
awesome.
one is Robert Eggers.
I'm down.
So let me throw in my first character change. And guess at the age he's at now, I would like to see James Earl Jones be Cyrus. Can you imagine him saying, "Can you dig it, suckers?" Oh my gosh.
Why? He's basically dressed the same way that James Earl Jones was in Conan.
Yes.
I mean, in that little,
with that,
like the
with
robe.
That booming voice.
Yeah.
Because you got to have the voice, and he's got the presence. He really, really does. It would just, boo. 10,000 of us. This is our turf. I'm just like, okay. Go on, give me one, Satomi.
That was a silent scream. So, bad guy.
I forget it's an audio podcast too sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, there was a silent scream, everyone. It was delightful. For the bad, I don't remember everybody's names. The bad guy. I know
David
he's
Patrick
got a
Kelly's
reputation
character,
for being difficult. Like he's got some stuff going on, but I think he would be interesting is Ezra Miller.
Oh.
Who's
hold
the
on.
Flash
Let
right
me
now.
think about this for a second. That would be a lot of baggage. Oh, he'd be on as much heroin as David Patrick Kelly, I'm sure.
Oh God. Oh,
so yeah, I'm in.
But
let him get as high as he wants and go for
it. He makes interesting choices, and we've already seen because of Fantastic Beasts. We've already seen that he can go to this really like funky dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he could take it to a real creepy dark place.
Okay. I'm going to go straight for Swan.
Oh wow,
Say,
big dog.
Adam Driver.
He's too old for it, but a young Adam Driver?
Yeah. I don't know, the straight face the whole time, being able to keep the straight face, the monotone voice the way that he is.
Yeah. He's if he was 5 years younger, I would 100% jump on that. But the other problem, he's so tall, you would be hard to find characters with him.
Yeah.
Because they have to kind of be in that 5-inch range.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I just more so he keeps that straight face that, Michael Beck did the entire time. It just I don't know. That's kind of what I saw with it, but you're right, yeah, he's probably a little bit too old. And then if we were doing one more, you got let me do mine first. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we're going round robin.
Okay, next my second one for Mercy, just because she's I guess my current Hollywood crush. What's her name? Sydney Sweeney.
Oh Jesus.
Yes. I'll just leave that one where it is. I'm in. Everyone's giving me this horrible look right now, and they can't look me in the eye for all our audio listeners.
No, it's because I couldn't remember who she was. I'm so sorry, Sydney. I just couldn't remember who she was, so I'm looking her up.
Be careful.
Yeah. Be careful on some of those
shots.
Oh,
got you. I
got you. and I say this, yes, she's an attractive girl, but how good she did on Saturday Night Live, I think she could find a good character with this. And that's why I picked her, not because of, not the other two reasons. I'm trying to, I'm
You're not trying.
I'm walking a line here, guys. Come on. Okay, so tell me what's your last pick?
Listen, you sprung this on me, so I don't really and hello everybody, there's my cat's rear because that's how he rolls. So honestly, I don't, the only one that I can think of, I don't love the choice. So I'm gonna step out on this one.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, because I think the only one that I can think of, it's too trite. It's too obvious, and I don't like that. I think um I'd like to see a more interesting
I would like to
choice.
see your pick for Ajax, honestly. I think you would make a really interesting pick for Ajax.
Which one's Ajax?
He's
That's
the
James Remar.
he's the dirty one.
Oh, he's the dirty boy. Let me think about it for a second.
Okay, we'll
All
come
right.
back to you on that one for a
You think-
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Winchester.
Mine just again being funny and just look for me. The lead of The Orphans, Paul Greco.
Oh, interesting.
I think that should be Adrian Brody because he's tall, lanky, skinny like that. He just doesn't
Nice.
have the weird eye like Paul Greco does.
Or you could go really weird into it and do Richard Grieco. I'm sorry, we've been recording too long. I can tell because I made that joke. That's bad.
But yeah, just I think Adrian
No,
Brody.
that's Adrian Brody's.
It's just a quick little one, and that guy can do anything. Anyway.
And let's be honest, the orphans would be the funnest scene in that movie.
Yeah.
You could put in like A-list celebrities all the way down in that one, and it would be fantastic because it would just be like, well, it's a half a day of work. You got to hold out a newspaper. I'm in. Then you got to talk. You got to talk to Sydney Sweeney. So hey,
Wow.
You got one for us, Satomi? Or we gotta?
I mean, I think Michael B. Jordan could pull it
Ooh.
off, but because he would do the kind of like it's dirty, but it's kind of hot. You know what I mean? Where it's like where you kind of get it that he gets with one of the Lizzies, it because the way that character was like so gross, and the other women, take your pick. It's like, excuse me. I could actually see, the girls lining up for that, and something getting out of hand, but
it
less.
should have been somebody that's a guy that is gorgeous, that'll make a straight guy
Yeah.
say, I wonder,
Well, I mean, it should be somebody that the reason that he behaves the way he does is because he's
he looks
gotten
that
away
good.
with it because
Yeah.
he looks the way he does. So, yeah.
Oh, I totally see that. I am in. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Last thing we always do whenever we talk about a movie, let's hear them grades. You can grade it with an A. You can grade out of 5 stars. You can do whatever you want. Winchester, what do you grade this? And I'm curious on Satomi's after because it's their first.
8.5 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Satomi, what do you give it?
I mean, this is a solid B movie for me. It is of a time. In its time, it might have been a B plus. It is very much a testosterone fueled. The characters not that deep. It's about going and having a good time. It's a chase movie, so it's a solid, fun B movie, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Very good. I'm actually give this because, as I said, this is one of my favorite movies ever. This is solid 9.3, I guess. It's an A. If you go on that score, I really enjoy this. This is one of those movies you don't watch for a deeper meaning. You don't watch it because you're experiencing high art. You want to escape the freaking world. You're going to go on a fun trip. You're not going to really be any danger the whole time, but you're going to enjoy it. You're not going to when a character dies, you don't care.
Well,
but you're going to enjoy it.
One of the best things about it, it's only an hour and a half long.
And it should have been longer. It doesn't feel like it.
They don't waste a lot of time with dialogue in certain areas, and it moves. The whole thing.
It's lean. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it does have a very satisfying ending.
Yes.
Doesn't
very
it?
Satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm unless they come back with Cletus being the new Cyrus, I don't want to see a sequel. That's the only scenario I can be happy if they came back. But again, in today's Hollywood, I don't want to see this remade because it'll take all the joy out of it. Because this movie is solid, unapologetic joy.
Honestly, I'm sort of over the remakes and the sequels right now. I
Me
want to
too.
see some new.
I'm
I want to
completely
see some
over
new
them.
material.
Well, and
Yep.
like you said, Satomi, it's of a time, and I believe that those ones should be around because of being of a time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You knew how movies were going at that time.
Well, a great example of that is Rocky Horror Picture Show. The first one is brilliant. They remade it because they can get away with all this now. It's like, this is hot garbage. It's lost everything, lost all the
Yeah.
heart.
I just lost a bit of joy because I didn't
Thought about it,
realize
yeah.
they had remade it.
Because he was wearing boxers. Yes, because Rocky wears boxers. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm done with that. Okay, guys, that was a show. I promise we're back. These are going to be coming out a lot now. So hope you don't get sick of this. Yeah, a lot of the
Never.
cast is still back. We're just talking, we're scheduling, we're getting everything ready to go. Taking a little bit different flavor this time. If you guys can't tell, we're kind of pushing a little more of, if you get offended, just stay away, I guess, because we're not going to purposely offend anybody, but we are definitely not being apologetic for what we think anymore. So that's kind of where we're going, and I hope you guys
Just like
enjoy
the
this
Warriors.
direction. Like the Warriors, come out to play.
Come out and play.
Until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Mr. Winchester and Satomi. Keep on geeking on. We'll see you next time, suckers.
Can you dig it?
Perfect.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.